Hello. In this video, we will learn about data selection and navigation shortcuts in Excel.
Let's look at data selection and navigation shortcuts in Excel. So the first one, the control and the arrow keys will help you to navigate around data. Like here we got a data set. And let's say from here I want to quickly go to the last cell in this column. I can press control and down arrow. And to go to the last column, control and right arrow. And control and up arrow. So like this, I can navigate around the data set with the control and the arrow keys. So even if it's thousands of rows below and hundreds of columns across, we can quickly navigate with the control and the arrow keys like this. Then if you want to select maybe a row or a column of data, you can use Control, Shift and the arrow keys. So I can press, if I want to select this whole column, Control, Shift and then down arrow. So that will select the whole column. If I want to select all the other columns also, I can press Control, Shift and then right arrow. And here, if I start from here, if I want to select the first row, I can press Control Shift and then left arrow. And if I want to select all the rows, Control Shift and down arrow. So that's Control Shift and arrow keys to select a range of cells. Then after you select some cells, if you want to extend your selection cell by cell, you can use the Shift and the arrow keys. So here, if I'm over here on this cell, and I can use Shift and the arrow key, the right arrow key, to go cell by cell to extend the selection like that. And again, while pressing Shift, I can go back with the right arrow key to deselect. And also, once I select the whole row like this, I can press the Shift and then up arrow to select additional rows and then down arrow to select additional rows below. If I selected a data set like this and press Shift and then up arrow, I will be deselecting row by row. And if I want to select, I can again go down with the down arrow. And if I want to deselect columns, I can press Shift and then the left arrow to deselect like this. And to deselect rows, the up arrow. So like this, from this corner, I can keep on selecting additional rows and columns with the arrow keys while Shift button is pressed. If I want to select this whole data range at once, what I can do is I can go somewhere inside this data set and press Control and star or the asterisk. And it will immediately select all of the data. If I want to select the whole entire worksheet, I can click on a cell and press Control A. So it will select the whole sheet. So if we click on a blank cell, it will select the whole sheet. But if it's inside a data set like this and I press Control A, it will be selecting only the data range. So it's similar to Control and the star or the asterisk here. So the only difference is if you click on a blank cell and press Control A, it will select the whole worksheet. And sometimes when you want to enter data and keep on entering data to the right like this or formulas, you can use the tab key instead of the enter key. For example, if I type in 10 here and I press tab, I go to the next cell to the right. So again, let's say I do a formula here. And then after that, let's say I want to go to the next column on the right. I can press the tab key again. So likewise, as long as I press tab, I can go to the right like this. Whether I inputs data or formulas or not, tab key will keep on moving to the right when I press it. If you want to go to the last cell in the worksheet, that is the lowest row and then the rightmost column, you can use Control and End. So if you press Control and End from here, you go to this cell over here, which is the last cell in the worksheet. So it's the lowest row and then the rightmost last column. If I want to go to the previous worksheet from the current worksheet that I'm located here from here, if I want to go to data manipulation, which is the previous worksheet, I can use Control and Page Up shortcut. So Control and Page Up. Now I go to data manipulation. Same way, if I want to go to the next worksheet, I can press Control and Page Down. I go to from data selection to formatting. So from the visible screen that I see over here, if I want to go one page up, let's say there's data, this page, and then I want to go one screen up, then I can use the page up shortcut. Now I go one page up. Then same way, I have the page down to go one page down. So page down goes one page down. If I want to move one screen to the left or the right on a worksheet, I can use the Alt and Page Up and Alt and Page Down. So Alt and Page Down will move to the right. So if I press here, Alt and Page Down, I move one sheet to the right. Again, if I press Alt and Page Up, I go one sheet to the left. If I want to access all of these commands in the ribbons, I can use the Alt key and then the key combination that is shown for me. So for example, if I press Alt now, see, I get these letters and these numbers. So from here, I can navigate to these commands. For example, now if I press N key, I will go to the Insert menu. If I press the V key, I will go to Pivot Table. And then if I press the T key, I can insert a pivot table. So likewise, I can go through the letter or the number combination shown after I press Alt key to go into different commands in the ribbon. So from here, if I wanted, I could have inserted a pivot table. If I want to select the column, I can use the Control and Space Bar shortcut. So if I press Control and Space Bar, I will select this column over here. If I wanted to select couple of columns, I can select like this and then Control and Space Bar. It will select all three columns. Again, for row selection, I can use Shift and the Space Bar. So from here, if I press Shift and the Space Bar, I select that row. If I had multiple cells selected like this, and I press Shift and Space, it will select all three rows like this. Again, after selecting a row or a column, if I want to insert another row or a column, I can press Control and plus. For example, here, I will select this column using Control space. And let's say I want to add another column. Then I can press Control and the plus button. And I have added another column. Let me undo that. Again, if I selected this row with Shift and Space Bar, and I wanted to add an additional row, I can press Control and plus. That will add another row. And also, same way, I can select a column and delete by using Control and minus. And row also, I can delete by using Control and minus. So if I select this column using Control and space, and then I can delete it using Control and minus. Same way, if I selected this row using Shift and space, I can delete it using Control and minus. We want to get a drop-down menu of data on top. Like here, we have some data, and here we want to get a drop-down menu of the options that are available on this data set. We can use the Alt and the down arrow. So if I press Alt and down arrow, I get a drop-down menu. From here, I can select whatever I want and then enter. So it's a easy way for data entry when you want to select data from top and insert below. Here I have some data, and let's say I want to add another row of 9s in between this data set. To do that, we can use the Control Shift and the left click and drag method. So let's say I want to insert this 9 row somewhere in between. I select that, press Control Shift, and then do a left click. And maybe I want it between the 6 and the 7. I'll let it go. And it will insert the 9 row. So it's added an additional row of data, and the original 9 row is also there. So it's been basically added into the data set. So sometimes you want to insert a row of data as well. So to do that, you can use Shift and left click and drag method. So let's again, I want to insert these 9 somewhere in between. So I select the 9 row, Shift button, then left click, and let's say I want it between the 5 and the 6, I will let go. And see, the 9 has been now inserted between the 5 and the 6, and it's been moved from the origin location. Sometimes you have objects like this in the grid, and you want to basically snap them onto the grid so they exactly align with the corners of the grid. So to make it easy, you can use the Alt and left click and drag method. So you select one of the objects, press the Alt key, and then the left click, and then maybe I want it in this corner. I will drag it to that corner and let go. So again, the next one, I will press Alt, left click, and then I will take it to the maybe edge of this corner and let go.
Thanks for watching.